We have all 5 classes covered. A rogue who tests your defenses, a wizard who watches your network, a paladin who manages your compliance, an artificer who builds your controls, and a cleric who holds it all together. That's a mature security program. It is also not what most organizations have. Most organizations have one person, maybe two. A title that says security and a scope that says everything. And the question they wake up asking every morning is not, how do we improve our security posture? It's, what do I have to let slide today to cover the things that actually matter? Welcome back. I'm the architect. We've spent this arc building out the ideal party, all 5 classes, all 10 domains. Today we face the reality. Most security programs don't look like that. And understanding how to operate under constraint is as important as understanding what the ideal looks like. A mid-sized company, 500 employees, one security engineer doubling as the CISO, one analyst who also handles IT help desk tickets. This is not unusual. This is actually probably the majority. The 10 domains don't shrink because the team does. Secure design still needs to happen. GRC still has regulatory requirements. Data protection still has legal obligations. IAM still has to be configured. Systems still need hardening. The network still needs monitoring. Applications still have vulnerabilities. AI tools are still being adopted without oversight. Secrets are still getting committed to repositories. 10 domains. 2 people. The math is bad. The reality requires strategy. The first adaptation is that everyone wears multiple hats. The security engineer becomes the paladin by necessity, writing policies because nobody else will. The analyst becomes the artificer at 11 p.m. because the firewall needs a new rule and nobody else is awake. The CISO becomes the wizard during an incident because the team doesn't have a dedicated SOC for coverage. Wearing multiple hats is not inherently wrong. It is the reality of operating under constraint. The problem is that every hat you add means one less unit of focus on the hat you're already wearing. The analyst who is doing help desk tickets in the morning is not doing threat hunting in the morning. The security engineer who is writing policy on Friday afternoon is not hardening systems on Friday afternoon. Small teams must accept that some things will get partial coverage. The discipline is deciding which things those are and making sure they're not the things that will end you. The first tool a small team reaches for is often outsourcing. The managed security service provider, or an MSSP. A third-party company that provides security services as a subscription. SOC coverage, threat monitoring, incident response. 24 hours a day. For a fraction of what it would cost to hire and staff internally. The MSSP is the mercenary company. Skilled, available, expensive per day, but cheaper than an army. They bring the wizard function that most small teams can't afford full-time. Eyes on the network, alert triage. Someone to call at 3 a.m. who actually knows what they're looking for. The trade-off is context. An MSSP analyst knows your alerts. They don't know your business. They don't know that the anomalous traffic at 2 a.m. is your nightly backup job that's been running for 3 years. You get coverage. You don't get institutional knowledge. The best small teams treat the MSSP as an extension of their team and invest in the relationship accordingly. The alternative to full outsourcing is co-management. Keep the core internal. Outsource the pieces that are hardest to staff. SOC coverage is a common candidate. Running a 24/7 monitoring function internally requires 3 shifts of analysts. That's a significant headcount for a small team, An MSSP, or a co-managed SOC service, covers the overnight shifts while the internal team handles days and investigations. Compliance is another candidate. A fractional CISO or a GRC consultant who spends 2 days a week helping you maintain your paladin function costs less than a full-time hire and more than leaving the function empty. The key principle is this: no domain gets left completely uncovered. You may not have a full-time artificer, but someone needs to be responsible for hardening, even if it's a part-time responsibility of the one engineer you have. An empty chair in the party is an undefended flank. A partially filled chair is a managed risk. Make the choice consciously. When you can't cover everything, you must prioritize. And the prioritization framework comes from Arc 1. Risk. Likelihood times impact. What threats are most likely to hit your specific organization? What would do the most damage if they did? A small healthcare company has a different threat profile than a small retail company. The healthcare company's highest risk is ransomware targeting patient data. The retail company's highest risk is payment card skimming. Both are small teams. Both have the same resource constraints, but the right priorities are different, and the security investment should reflect the difference. The side quest on the party roster covered hiring. The same principle applies to coverage. Don't just hire for what you know. Hire and prioritize for what keeps you up at night. Because that thing, whatever it is for your specific organization, is the one thing that will end you if you get it wrong. The core lesson: you don't get to say, we're too small to need security. You get to say, we're small, so we have to be smarter about where we put our resources. The full party is the goal. Operating with a partial party is the reality. The organizations that navigate this well are the ones that know exactly which domains they're covering, which domains they're partially covering, and which domains they've consciously chosen to accept risk in, and which MSSP or partner is filling the gaps they can't fill internally. The organizations that don't navigate this well are the ones that don't know anything about what they're missing until something they weren't watching goes wrong. Your quest objective: if you work in or near security, map your team against the 5 classes. Where are the gaps? Where is the one person covering 3 roles? What domain has the thinnest coverage? If you're an individual, look at the services you use: your bank, your email provider, your cloud storage. Do they offer security features you haven't turned on? MFA you haven't enabled? Activity logs you've never checked? You have a small team problem too. You are the team. 1 person, 10 surfaces. Prioritize accordingly. We've built the party. We've stress tested it against resource reality. One more episode before we leave this arc. How the party actually works together. Not in theory, in practice. The dynamics, the handoffs, the tensions that make them better. And then we'll open the arsenal. Because the party is assembled, and now they're going to need their gear. I'm the architect. We'll talk soon.